consulting in the age of AI. We are honored to have Dr. Ghosh coming in today. And may I now request Dr. Ghosh, Professor H.R. Rao, Professor Rahul Dey, and Professor Mayank Kumar to be on stage. As you all know, Dr. Bhaskar Ghosh is the Chief Strategy and Innovation Officer. Professor Rahul Dey is our ex-dean. He was also the chairperson for CSITM. Professor Mayank Kumar is the current chairperson for Center for Software and IT Management. And I would now request Dr. H.R. Rao to give an introduction of Dr. Ghosh and about the session. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Venkatesh. Before I introduce Dr. Ghosh, let me briefly introduce myself. I'm a professor at the University of Texas at San Antonio, and this past summer I was a research scholar here, an eminent research scholar, whatever that means. And so that is my connection to IIM Bangalore. But my job here today is to introduce Dr. Bhaskar Ghosh, who's the Chief Strategy and Innovation Officer at Accenture and a member of the company's Global Management Committee. In his role, he oversees Accenture's overall strategy and investment initiatives, including ventures, acquisitions, and the development of assets and offerings across the company's diverse services. Bhaskar also leads the overall AI strategy for Accenture and innovation, leveraging advanced capabilities and cutting-edge research to help clients across industries to reinvent the future of business. Additionally, Bhaskar manages Accenture LearnVantage, a proprietary learning platform designed to identify and close skill gaps within enterprises, providing industry-specific training at speed. And previously, he served as the Group Chief Executive of Accenture Technology Services. Now, I met him in 2023, where in Hyderabad, where he received the Leadership Excellence Award from the Association of Information Systems, which is a global information systems association for all people who are interested in IS worldwide. And you can imagine that was a global honor. So you have an excellent speaker with a major reach across the globe speaking to you today. So Bhaskar is also the co-author of Automation Advantage, a guide for technology and business leaders on scaling intelligent enterprise and automation and integrating AI into organizational services. In addition, he serves as independent director on the board of directors of HDFC Life. And if I were to read all of this, it'll take 10 minutes from his talk, so I'll stop here. And let's give a warm welcome to Bhaskar.
Thank you, Professor Rao, for that warm welcome. Good afternoon to all of you. So a few days back, I was talking to Professor Rao, Professor Mayank, and few people about this session. So I asked them, what should I talk? So they tell me, why don't you talk about the future of consulting in the age of AI? Initially, I thought it's a very simple topic because that is my CEO is asking for last 4 years every day. But then also it is a little difficult topic because last 4 years I'm searching for the answer. But I'm sure today, in next one and a half hour, with all of you, we'll get the right answer. You know, yeah. 3 years back, I wrote this book, Automation Advantage. It was based on a very simple principle that if you automate the right things within the enterprise, then you liberate the human potential. We painted the picture that how the future of AI, future of technology will influence the enterprise. And we called that as intelligent age. That is the future of AI within enterprise. In 2022, 2023, 22, 23, it was very ambitious. It was very futuristic. But now that future is here. Now that future is here because we have crossed a line. We do not ask systems, computers anymore merely to follow our instructions. Rather, we expect systems to understand our intent and execute with AI, agentic AI, and so on. The world of automation, which is all about scripting, pre-planning, programming, are getting over. The new generations of systems are getting developed, which are more autonomous. The systems which can sense the environment, can decide based on our data, can act based on agentic architecture and that layer, and then learn from every transaction. That is the future of systems. That is the intelligent age. This will change every industry. This will touch every business. This will touch every individual in this room. That is the topic for our talk today, how this will impact consulting in that age of AI, what we should do, we should not do. So let us first do some grounding on AI, what actually is happening in the world across. So you all know 2022, AI is there for a long time. The technology is not new, but the AI inflection point was 2022 when the ChatGPT came. You know, initially it was a clever assistant, then it was more of a writing of a code, summarization of documents, so on and so forth. Then it is more of a embedding the AI everywhere, and then there came the agentic architecture, you know, the task agent and supervisory agent and so on. And then it's a phenomenal adoption in the enterprise. That's what is happening. But if you follow the money, is $1.5 trillion has been invested worldwide. $1 trillion is capital, is not a small amount, is invested worldwide. The 71% of the enterprise has adopted AI, Gen AI, and using actively. And that number has gone up significantly from 33% in 2023. So it is not only they are using, it has gone up significantly in the enterprise level from 33% to 77%. 1.1% of the US CapEx GDP is coming from AI. 1.1% of GDP is not a small amount. Only 405,000 company has started in India in last 24 months. Huge number of AI companies. Globally, there is more than 75,000 AI companies. has started in last 2 years. So I think there is a momentum. Do you all feel AI is real? Raise your hand if you feel it's real. Yes, everybody thinks this data is real, AI is real, and it will touch. But I also want you to know something which is not so good news. The combined valuation of 10 AI companies with negative margin is $1 trillion. $1 trillion is the valuation of 10 companies who are 10 startups who are making loss. There are AI company with a $50 million revenue is a 1 billion valuation. That's a fancy valuation. Recent MIT report shows that $30 to $40 billion enterprise has spent on AI adoption. But 95% of that has not created tangible business value, which is reflected in P&L. So everybody is using AI. We love AI. So many things are happening. But it's not impacting P&L. It's not impacting business value. That's the problem. But the regulators are very busy. 2,000 laws are getting formed and, to control AI. So if you read all these signals together, it's a little scary. But the point is, this happened in the past also. If you look back in the history, in every wave, whether it is a PC wave, or it's a .com wave, internet.com wave, or it's a cloud wave, or it's a digital crypto wave, every time the new technology comes, and then there is excitement in the market, hundreds and thousands of startups starts, venture capital invest, everybody is eager to make money, then there is a correction happen, then there is a consolidation happen, then there is a maturity happen. .com burst was real 25 years back. Some of you were small kid that time maybe. But the internet is not dead. .com was dead. Internet was successful. E-commerce was successful. That euphoria of .com was burst. So same thing, I believe, is that the technology is real. There may be some correction happen, but the key point is the value creation is very important. Again, the Professor Gary also said exactly the same thing, that this overvaluation scares us, that there may be a correction. Now let us talk about the consulting. How many of you in this room want to be consultant? Oh, we have some people here who want to be consultant. So there is a screen for you. It says that AI is coming for consultants. It's existential crisis. Whatever we can do as a consultant, AI will do that tomorrow. So existential crisis for consultant. It says that AI is coming for big fours too. Deloitte, EY, KPMG. Fortunately, Accenture's name is not there. We are still recruiting large number of people in consulting. So, but the point is the message what you get here, that the people are thinking, what consultant we do, the conventional consulting, what we do, almost everything can be done by AI. Everything. So what is the future of consulting? So that is the question we are talking about. So let us ground ourselves, what we have learned so far, last 10 minutes, that AI is real. The technology is real. This is not metaverse. This is not blockchain, which will not scale. This is something is there, it will scale, the technology is real. What we have understand, it needs to create the business value. Only hype will not sustain. So it's the business value, the tangible outcome is what is needed. That is what is the most important. So there is a need to redefine consulting. So we need to understand what is the role of consulting in the age of AI. the conventional way of doing is dead. It is not going to work. So what is the new way of working? That's what we are going to discuss. So let us talk about some of the technology which we have seen in the past. We know that the Lean Six Sigma way, we know the global sourcing, we know the digital, and now 23 onward, we are telling it is now we are in the era of AI, or AI and data and Gen AI, agentic, in the intelligent age. So every wave had a different value proposition. So what was the value of Lean Six Sigma? Quality. So the primary value was the improved quality. It says that it will significantly improve quality. When you talk about the global sourcing, it started in 2000, still going on. It is about the cost arbitrage. You bring work to the India, Philippines and all, you get a labor cost arbitrage. That is how it started, and then it evolved that it is more of a innovation, technology and so on and so forth. Digital, value proposition of digital is all about the agility, speed and scale. Now the question is, what is the value proposition for AI? What is that? Intelligence. You are absolutely right. The value proposition of AI is intelligence. It is not automation, it is intelligence. That is the value proposition of AI. What we need to do, what all of us collectively need to do, we need to understand how to create value with AI, with the understanding, playing with this intelligence. Now, most probably this is the most important slide in my whole deck. This shows the concept, this shows the power of AI. If we talk about the AI, and this is talk about the intelligence, I feel this should be a tool. Today, most of these people, most of us, most of the CEOs are using AI as an automation tool. If I talk to someone, talk to any CEO, they will first say, okay, we will use AI. My call center has got 2,000 people. Can you reduce it to 200? That's an automation. So it is all the discussion is about 85% of the CEOs are thinking, use AI as an automation tool. It can do some automation, but it can do more than automation. It is an intelligence tool. It can do many other things. Now, how it will do many other things? If we integrate that intelligence along with the human intelligence. The way I think it is a very simple thing. Like say, if you talk about all the tooling in the industrial revolution, all the cranes and other things. So that has added value. Like say, let us take how much weight I can lift. Maybe with my hand, I can lift, say, 50 kg. Any struggle, but say 50 kg. But if you give me a crane, with a lesser effort, I should be able to lift maybe 500 kg, maybe 5 tons. So that is a tool which is improving my muscle power. Now just imagine AI is a tool, increase my brain power, in intellect. How do you measure human intelligence? IQ. Normally the IQ is the measurement for human intelligence. What is the average IQ of the world? 80 to 100. That is the average IQ of the world. Some countries are more, some countries are less. Don't go by the average of this room. This will be maybe 140. I have come to high, and you all are very high IQ people. So, but the average IQ is 80 to 100. What is the IQ of GPT-5? You cannot really measure IQ for GPT because not it is exactly the same. But if you ask Google anything, it gives an answer. So if you check with Google, you will find that IQ is around 150. 150. What was the IQ of Einstein? 160. 160 was the IQ of Einstein. So GPT-6 will cross, the GPT-5 will cross 160 one day. Now just imagine Accenture has got 750,000 people across the globe. If I take this digital brain and integrate that seamlessly with everybody, then we will be in a company with a 750,000 people with 160 IQ. Is that not cool? Is it not ambitious? It is doable. It is whole idea is that how do you seamlessly integrate this artificial power of intelligence into our day-to-day work, into our day-to-day life, in everything what we do in our life, whether we do it, prepare a report or we do create a business plan and so on and so forth. So that is the power. How can you increase your efficiency by 5 to 6x using artificial intelligence? I'm sure that, as I say, that your IQ is already high. Now, if you increase that by 5 to 6x, I don't know where you'll go, but at least, you can significantly increase. Okay? Now, let us talk about, now we understand the power of AI. Now let us come back to business. Close to our heart is consulting. So there are two things, technology and business. What is the positioning of Accenture, company like Accenture? We believe that we work at the intersection of business and technology. So we understand business, client's problem, we understand technology, and we create a solution. That is the positioning of Accenture. That is what we love to do. There are many companies you will find, they are more towards left, they are more towards technology. There are companies more towards right, they are towards the business. But broadly, this is two things together. So this was the historically, this is the consulting is all about. Now there is a third element. What is the third element? Is data. Data and AI become the third element. Now let us think of a company who operates at the intersection of technology and data. That means they use technology to monetize data. Can you name one such company? OpenAI, Google, Meta, all the platform companies are primarily operates on the technology and data. They use the platforms to monetize the data, and that is how they make money. There are companies operates at the intersection of business and data. They understand client's business and analyze the data and give a solution. These are more like management consulting. Management consulting companies, pure play management consulting companies, they love to play between these two. They want to understand the business and the data. What I feel, the new consulting is at the intersection. New consulting is all about in the intersection. It's the focus is to advice to outcome. As a consultant, if I give a nice advice and create a good PowerPoint, that era is over. Nobody wants. They will be able to create the PowerPoint with ChatGPT themselves. Client will be able to create. So you need to make sure it is advice to outcome, direct business outcome. That is what it is we are talking about. So focus is the growth, efficiency, experience, speed, and innovation. That is the new consulting is all about. New consulting is not that we have to use AI. AI is a tool, AI is a technology. That is not what it is. You know, what it important is that new consulting is make sure that we bring all these three things together and create that value. Now, if you talk about the professional services life cycle, it is advise, implement, execute, and outcome. What is happening today is more of a shift right. What is shift right? That means the advice company wants to do little more implementation. Implementation company wants to do little more execution. That is the shift right is happening, because pure advice nobody wants to buy. The AI will do it. So this change with this technology change is pushing this whole consultant to behave differently. And we need to understand with this change, what will be changing, what is actually changing in terms of the scope of the work, skill sets, the way of working. Let us talk about these three aspects, how it will change. See, I can tell you, it is not that the new consulting means that whatever you do today as a consulting is not relevant anymore. I'm not telling that. A lot of things, whatever we do, we may still continue to do that. 70–80%, the core consulting skill with the client intimacy, understanding the industry, creating the solution remain there. But there are certain things you need to understand. What is the new scope? What is the new skill required? And what is the new way of working? Okay. So let's talk about the new scope. The scope is, as I say, is a shift right. Every stage you think that more advice to implementation to execute to outcome has to happen, and we have to absolutely get obsessed with the delivering the real business outcome. That is the future of consulting. That is what is needed. You may find this reflect, this whatever I am telling, you may find is reflecting in the campus. I was talking to our recruitment team, our Pratik is there, is our head of recruitment. He was telling me that now a lot of pure play management consulting companies are going to IITs. Historically, they never visit IITs, they visit only MB schools. But they are going to IITs. Why? Shift right. They need to implement, they need to understand the technology better. So that is what is happening. Then you will find the shorter cycle, higher volume. What does that mean? That means, that we used to do that, some consulting work for 6 months, 3 months. It's getting squeezed. Now you have to talk in weeks or days, because with this technology, it is much faster. So it will much faster execution has to happen. But what is more important is that the volume will go up significantly. And why? Because this transformation will touch everybody. When he talked about the cloud, still world 60% load has not moved to cloud in the enterprise. If you don't move to cloud, nothing happens. You lose some agility, your cost of operation will be high, so on and so forth. But it's not competitive disadvantage all that way. But in this case, if your competition use AI and you do not use AI, then they will get a competitive advantage. You will lose. So every company, small and big, has to change, has to adopt, and that will create the opportunity, that will create the big opportunity for consulting. So the size of the scope, size of the project may come down, but the volume of the projects will go up, shorter life cycle. Then the third point is very important, the architecting for intelligence. Worldwide, as a consultant, we build processes. Big companies, we build processes. Historically, we have built everything, all the factories and the processes and business, we have built the processes considering only human will work. Now you have to redesign the process. Both human and the machine will work. That is fundamentally different. I'll give you one small example. My marketing person has moved out, so I can tell this story now. In Accenture, we have an Accenture research group. We do research, and that research group, is part of my team. So one day I was talking to the research lead. As a process, what we do every time we pick up a new research, we go to marketing, and marketing do the survey whether that research is relevant in the market or not, whether there is a similar research available or not, whether that research will, how that research will impact our clients, so on and so forth. So once you identify a research area, it goes to marketing, and they take 3 to 4 weeks, and then they will come back and tell me that whether the research is a good thing to do or bad thing to do, or we should do something else. That was the process. Good established process was going on for a long time. So a few months back, I was in a call, our CMO was there and my research lead was there. So our CMO told me that, Bhaskar, now we have using AI and we have created the agentic architecture. So once you are ready with the topic, you just tell me, our team will quickly, run your ideas through our agents and come back and tell you what is to be done. I said, that is absolutely great. So much time you take today, 4 to 6 weeks. How much time you will take tomorrow with this agentic? She said that, we'll be able to turn around in a week. I said, that is interesting, but why don't you give access to that agent to my person itself? And I don't need a week. It will be minute. So the point is, that is a fundamental. We have used to do it the organizational silos, that different ways of doing. But when you do it through an agent, you break the silos. So the point is that whole design of the organizations are created. The human will check, human will build. So now you have to reimagine those processes, how agent will work and what is the most efficient way of doing. That is the architecting intelligence. Now, the final thing on a skill set. What is the new skill set needed? First of all, the deep understanding of the business, industry, and the functions and processes. That is relevant today, it is going to be relevant tomorrow. You need to understand the industry context. That is not something AI is going to solve. Then appreciate the technology, data, and security. So there is a different way of, there is a little bit of a different way of working. That means whenever you talk about the technology, that irrespective of your background, irrespective of your discipline, you need to make sure that you understand the core technologies. In Accenture term, we call that as a digital core. That means for a particular industry, what type of technology is there, the broad understanding you should have. And finally, you should have the user perspective of AI. What is the user perspective of AI? That means you know that what are the different LLM, when to use them, what are their pros and cons, what are the different platforms, and so on and so forth. At least you should be good as a user. Like you all use Google Map. Do you know that how it does the miracle every time? Even in the Bangalore traffic, it tells more or less the fixed time it will take you. You need not understand that technology behind it to use Google Map. Similarly, to use AI, you need not be understanding how the transformer model works, how the knowledge graph has to be there, what is the difference between the vector database and relation. You can learn, but it's not essential. But what is important for you to essentially to learn, what are the different AI tools are there, when to use, when not to use, what are the pros and cons, and so on and so forth. That is absolutely important when you do the consulting in the future. Then let us talk about the way of work. This is real fun. That way of work will slightly change. First point I wrote here, the typical how the consultant work. You gather the data, you analyze the data, you produce the result, you decide and help. That is a conventional work. What I am telling is that in the future, it will more of an expert interpretation of validation. This is all big English. Let me give a simple example. I have shown you this. There are first two slides with lots of data. You remember $1 trillion, $1 billion data. If I do an old way of doing, what I would have done, I would have, before this meeting, I would have told my strategy team, get me, I'm going to talk in IIM Bangalore, get me some data, to how much investment is happening in AI, what is the risk in AI, so on and so forth. And they will always do the fantastic job. They will do a Google search, they will do all the journal, they will check the Gartner report and all kinds of things. They will come back with the right answer. After maybe a week, 10 days, 2 weeks, depending on what I ask. But now, whatever slide I have shown you, I have not done that way. What I have done, I have given a prompt. I'm going to talk in IIM Bangalore. Get me 10 points to show AI is working and list 10 points where show highlights the AI is a risk and reveal the source. So it listed 10 points in this side and 10 points with this thing and the source. Then I shared that with our strategy team. I say from these 10 points, just select 3-4 points and go and check those documents, that source document, and read and just check whether actually it is telling the same thing. So validate. So the question is no point in nowadays that, do a research and spend time on that. So that is a different way of working. This is a mindset change. This is a cultural change. So that is what I said, that the expert interpretation and validation, you need that expert validation. Second point is the human-driven analysis of problem solving with human creativity, machine efficiency, and differentiated IP. Do you all get lots of project work in the class? Do you all use ChatGPT, Perplexity and all? Is it allowed? Yes, no, yes, yeah, allowed maybe. I'm sure that everybody use that, then you do humanizer and all this thing. But we all know this thing. So, but the point is, let us talk about the context. Let us talk about the context. Suppose there is a class project and there are 40 students, everybody use same ChatGPT tool. Do you think all of them come up with the same project plan? No. Some people will come better, some people will be different. It depends on what prompt you use. That is number one. But the challenge in the college is definitely, your officers do not want to give marks to ChatGPT. They want to assess you. So it does not really work that you use ChatGPT report and give. But look at the industry where we encourage our people to use tools so that they take less time and do the right thing. We use our people to tell them to use tool. Because our client do not care whether you have done manually or whether you use ChatGPT or who cares? They don't care. They want report. So it's an easy solution. Use ChatGPT, do it. But we also have the same problem. We also have some problem like the professors. Problem is that if I just give a ChatGPT response to my RFP to my client, then what will happen? My response of TCS, Infosys, Deloitte, and McKinsey, everything will be same or more or less same. Then first client will say, why should I pay you premium? And second thing they will say, okay, you are using ChatGPT, I might as well do that myself. Why do I need you? This is not a good outcome. So point is, we need to figure it out. How do you use this tool effectively and still differentiate? How do you use in a class of 40, if all of you use the ChatGPT, how do you use the prompt? How do you use the context differently so that your report stands out? And I can tell you that I use at least 10 times a day for the different purpose. My prompt quality is much better than average than most of the people, just because I practice so many times. So I think that fluency in this prompting one need to understand which tool you use on this thing. Second thing is that, so that is the human creativity. And then the most of the time, what you ask, that is what you get. As a human ingenuity human creativity comes there, that when you solve a problem, what exactly you ask. Second thing is the machine efficiency you should utilize. There is no point in telling that I will do manually. Doing addition in manually is good, but after last 40-50 years, we use only calculator. There is no need to use manual. Similarly, some of the things will be very distinct. But the differentiated IP is very important. Even if my competitors use ChatGPT, when Accenture will produce that result using the same tool, most probably our result will be superior, because I have done at least 1,000 such projects in the same area, and my ChatGPT is not a public ChatGPT, it is an enterprise version which is trained in those 1,000 previous case studies of successes and failures. So that differentiated IP, you need to understand how do you integrate that in the solution. So in a simple exercise for all of you, if your professor permits and allows, then you just try to figure it out in your class. If you have the 40 students do a same report, how do you differentiate? How do you stand out using the prompt, using the differentiated IP, whatever you can load? Okay, so let me move little fast. But if we do all this thing, one thing is very clear. I believe there is unbound opportunity with this technology. I believe strongly next 3 to 5 years down the line, every individual will have a personal digital brain. Every government will have a national digital brain. And every business will have every enterprise will have a business digital brain, or every business will have an enterprise digital brain. What exactly I mean? Like, is ChatGPT is your personal digital brain? Answer is no, because ChatGPT is available to everybody, it is same. But just imagine if that tool is customized for you. That means it understands your preference, it understands your liking, disliking and everything. In that case, it will be your IP, your this part. Similarly, for enterprise, in part of Accenture, we don't need to know so much thing what is there in LLM to run Accenture. Our tool should know that what is Accenture's product, what is our rate card, what is our pipeline, and so on and so forth. So that is what is needed. The national digital brain, every government should do it. Now let us do some fun thing. I have got so many examples I can give you, but already I think somebody is giving me signal to close. I'll try to close in next 15 minutes. So I'll give this one. This how to use this thing in government. You may have seen this recently, but I came across this very recently, and I thought it is interesting. So there is a small country named Albania. It's an East and European country with a more than million people population. They have appointed a AI minister. That is no big deal. Country can appoint AI minister. But what is a big deal is that their AI minister is an AI agent. That is, Diala is an AI agent, and that AI agent participates in all the meetings. She has got access to all the government files, has the government policies, rules, law of the country and everything. And it helps to take a decision real time in government matter. After the successful implementation, now she has 83 or 82 something, 83 children. So those are the children will now work in different departments. Just imagine all those children will have the same digital brain, same knowledge database, same knowledge graph, same vector database, and share with the mother. So within the government, whatever is happening in one department, other department will know immediately, and they will be able to help to take the right decision. But this technology is not a story. This is real. In Accenture, we run a thing called Global Innovation Contest across our clients, where is basically in a forum that the top 10 winners will come, final day, and then they will take 15 minutes, one by one they will present, and we have 6 judges will sit and decide that who is the best. So last June when we had this session, I have added the 7th judge, and 7th judge was an AI agent. So it was a direct audio visual feed to that judge to judge the session. And you will be amazed at the end that when we are doing the final recommendation, that all the judges came up with their own recommendation, but the AI judge's recommendation was most rational, most logical, and ultimately all of us agreed with that. So this is technology is real. I'm sure that in IIM you do many contests you run and all. Just for fun, just create that agent and try it out and see how it works. It is just a fun. Now let us talk about the business side. I'll take again one example. It is a small company startup called Noli, No One Like I. Name of the company is No One Like I. It's a company in UK funded by L'Oreal. Accenture has worked as a consultant to build this whole solution. Now, this is a beauty tech company. Now, just imagine, whatever it does is very simple, that it will help you to choose the right beauty product. It sounds very simple, but now imagine you are a consultant. You are helping Noli to create this solution. First thing, you need to understand the industry. You need to understand the beauty industry. You need to understand there are, the 5 types of the skin, like dry skin, oily skin, so on. Then there are 3 types of shades. There are, like say it can be light gray, dark tan, and so on. So there are several parameters in the way the skin and the face and the jewelry choice and all these things matters. So industry knowledge is absolutely essential. Then it is about the data. You need to understand the user's preference data, whole lot of preference data. It comes with ethnicity, it comes with the region, comes with the function in which they are dressing for, whether it's a marriage or office or, party and so on and so forth. So that data, then environmental data, depending on the weather, temperature, humidity, and so on and so forth. So you can imagine, and then finally the technology. It's an AI engine which match this solution every time, and every person use that AI learns every time, better it will do the better recommendation. So it's a very simple example, but the point is, as a consultant, when you do a consulting for this project, it is not just a business plan. How much will be revenue per instance, and how many users and so on and so forth. But if you have to build the solution, you need to understand data, you need to understand technology, you need to understand the business, you need to understand that overall solution. So that is why it is very important that, as we say, the new consulting is at the intersection of all this. And finally, at the individual level, I am sure that everybody talks about that I am very passionate to our LearnVantage platform, that is Accenture learning platform, which is very heavily use AI. Now, AI has got we all use ChatGPT and Perplexity and so on and so forth. But in the whole learning industry, I think AI has got a huge role to play, and I'm sure it will touch everyone in the coming days. Well, I'll go fast. Now, first I'll just leave with these 3 things, that 3 more slides with the 3 different things. First of all, in this room, how many of you will join startup or want to start a business after school? You have few. So this is a message for you, because in my role, I get an opportunity to meet many startups across the globe. So if you are a startup, solve the real business problem, not the capability. Nobody is interested on what tech capability you have, what Gen AI capability you have, and so on and so forth. It has to be the real business outcome. It has to be differentiate. It has to be differentiate is the survival. You have to have your moat around you. Every time you come up with an idea, just think that can OpenAI or Google or Amazon can come up with the same thing tomorrow because they have more money power, they have more power. So what can be your moat? Your data can be your moat. Your industry knowledge can be your moat. So that is very unique, that your solution can be your moat. So that is important to understand. Differentiate, the next point is the focus on the distribution as the go-to market. The distribution is the king. If you have a startup, think of your first 100 users, first 100 clients. Until unless you understand your first 100 clients, do not jump into that area. Think of the ecosystem. Never create an isolated solution. Always create a solution which will connect with the many other players. It is not possible to build everything today in the current world. You have to follow the ecosystem and then the speed, discipline for the execution. So these are the few things. Then what should you do as an enterprise? How many of you are going to join the enterprise like Goldman Sachs, JPMC, HDFC, ICICI, Accenture, Deloitte? No one is joining Accenture. Okay, some people. So I think that, in this industry, when you join, you will find that they lead with a purpose, that AI is not for AI, but is a business value. You need to understand data will remain as the core. Whatever the agentic AI we talk about, those agents need oxygen. And the data is the oxygen for those AI agents. So data is absolutely important. If it's a polluted data, then agents will give a wrong results. Then equip all the people and the tools. In Accenture, we are training 700,000 people on AI. Do I really think that will significantly uplift the productivity? Answer is no. Only training is not going to help. It is also important that all the tools they use every day, that has to be AI enabled. So it has to be both the tools and this part. And then, they broadly design the processes as I explained in the earlier, that only do not automate the process, but it will redesign, reinvent the process and the trust. And then finally, if you are a professional, if you are a management consultant or a consultant as a professional, let us make sure lead with a value architect. Be a value architect, not a solution architect. Don't create a solution, but create a business value. Master the prompting. Anything you do, whether you do the banking to any areas, prompting is the base skill everybody should learn in your job. Blend the domain expertise. So domain expertise is important today. It will remain important tomorrow. Always create the solution with client, with your user. Do not create in isolations. And then finally, let us make sure that we follow the ethics and compliance part of it. Then finally, I truly believe that the opportunity will be more in the future in the era of AI. It is not about the old consulting. It is about the new consulting. In the new consulting, we all will thrive. It will be to expand the scope of our work. It will AI augmented skill, and it's a new way of working. So if we can do this, if we can embrace that, then I can tell you that we all will thrive in the era of AI for next 20 years. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ghosh, for a fantastic talk. And now we can open for
Yes,
for
we have some
questions.
time for questions.
So I'm sure we have a lot of questions from the audience online also. And now let's take the questions first from here. Yeah.
Hello, sir. It was an amazing presentation and talk, of course, more than presentation. This is Mohan Mulagiri. I'm part of the Hewlett Packard Enterprise marketing organization leading the insights and had a consulting background. So from your perspective, where in the consulting value chain you see AI adding value and where it would disrupt or destroy value across the consulting value chain?
See, I think that when you talk about the consulting value chain, at the end of the day, we need to make focus that it has to create the tangible customer value, tangible business value. That is the core of the problem. It is not about the technology. Technology is real, but we need to choose the areas that where there is a tangible business outcome. Because at the end of the day, if I'm a business person, I will get excited with this new technology for 1 day, 2 days, but ultimately it has to, reflect in my P&L. It has to be return on investment. Otherwise, not will happen. So as a consultant, I feel that we need to get obsessed with the real value of AI in the business. And if we can do that, and then we will thrive. And as a technology, I believe that this creates a huge opportunity, but because it is redefined the process, it's redefined the way of doing the business, and it touch everyone.
Firstly, whether in the field of consultancy, we say that either it can be expertise based, experience based, or efficiency based. So currently, based on your experience, where do you think AI is being mostly used?
See, today we are talking about primarily the automation, which is basically that it is 70-80%. It is we are just trying to automate. That means we are trying to eliminate the repetitive manual job. But what it will happen, it will democratize the experience, as you said. Why it will democratize the experience? Like say, if I go to a hospital, if I go and visit a doctor today, I visit a doctor with minimum 20 years of experience. Otherwise, I'll not visit. A 2 years experienced doctor may have the same qualification, but I prefer still 20 years experienced doctor. But the point is, if the 2 years experienced doctor is a 20 years experience or 200 years experience of data, and it seamlessly augmented, in that case, there is no difference. I may prefer to still, I will not change. I will still go 20 years experienced doctor. The people will go. So that is why the experience will get democratized, but it is not today. It may take little time, so that is what I feel that it will do it. In terms of expertise, that what I will say, it's a more opportunity today that AI can make you the experts in a multiple areas, because it operates more broader. It breaks the boundaries, that if you are an expert, it's say on a sustainability, but you at the same time you have now access to the knowledge and the data into the related areas, maybe on the product and the material science and things like that, because of this power of this AI. So you have access to the larger knowledge base, which can be made easily available.
At the time of ERP, we had the same thought that now we will have all the functional data available at one place, and as a result of which the quality of decision making will improve. But apparently the experience does not reflect that we have really benefited as much as we should have from ERP. Do you believe that AI case will have the similar fate?
But more than that, I'll answer your question. More than that, when the ERP came, people thought that consulting is dead. We still survived. It thrived on consulting and ERP. When the SaaS came, people thought consulting is dead, but actually SaaS has increased the consulting. So similarly, this AI, it is increased. On the terms of this, it is all depends on the usage. But what is fundamental thing, if you say that in the AI, what exactly is the difference between this AI and the ERP? ERP or any other system, whatever is working today, are all instruction led. That means you give an instruction, it will follow the instruction. It will not do anything outside that. It is at the end of the day, it is all if else loop. But when it is AI, because it's a probabilistic system, it works with the data, it works on an intent. So it is instruction led to the intent led, where is basically you decide your intent and AI will automatically optimize with machine learning and all. So that is a fundamental difference in the technology, and which I believe will have a profound change in the future. Of course, it will take time, and it will not tomorrow, it maybe take 5 years time.
Sir, I'm Ram, founder of Neram. I have seen your slides, very nice. I filed a patent in AI in 2014, got the grant in 2023. The time you mentioned generative AI started. And my startup is, participated in NSRCL year, Launchpad program, incubation center in IIM. I want to know, from Accenture side, you have any plans to help startups?
We have the Accenture Ventures, where we work with a large number of startups in India and outside India. So we help them in three ways. One is that, we get, sometimes we make some minority investment, we do that. But most of the value what we add is that we validate the technology and we come in between the client and the startup. Because a lot of time what happened that big company, our clients are mostly a Fortune 500 company, Fortune 2000 company, large company. They don't want to trust their core system with a startup. So they want some undertaking from Accenture kind of company who will come in between. So we bring the technology to them. So we work as a pipe from the taking the startups idea to the larger number of clients across the globe, depending on this thing. A lot of time we take the startup solution as a white level solution in our system also.
Welcome, Dr. Ghosh. I'd like to know what kind of guardrails you have to prevent employees from, or for that matter, even top-level executives from leaking confidential data into GenAI. Say, even if you are using an enterprise version, you don't want client A's prompt to be used as a training data to respond to a client B prompt.
That's a very good question. First of all, that you have to make sure that no employee use the public GPTs or public AI for any enterprise work. That is not a very good idea, and that will create an enormous problem. So it has to be within the enterprise, and within the enterprise, when you define the system, you need to define that system with the guardrail. And more importantly, it is about the training, that we need to have the right level of training, and especially what is happening today, that that AI is very much active with this Copilot, with the Outlook and other things. So if it access all the emails for everybody, then there will be a problem. So there is a clear guideline is there that how the security norms is to be followed. It has to be implemented up to the last mile of details.
Hello, sir. I'm Sharon, and I'm a student at Christ Academy. And my question is that recently McKinsey had a huge loss of 2.1 million because it has used AI and it had made some blunders in the output, and the clients had lost their data, and the outputs were totally wrong. So what is the reason for that? And can you guide me, like what will be the steps I should be taking as I am a BCA student from AI background?
First of all, that what was the McKinsey problem, what mistake they have done, what they should have done or could have done, I will not make any comments on that. They cannot make any comments on that. But the point is that in any technology, it's a new technology, you have to follow the lot of guardrails in terms of that implementation. And if you make any mistake there, if there is a compromise there, knowingly, unknowingly, that will be the risk. What I can tell you, the risk in GenAI based system is much more than the other predictive system, because all other system what happened that instruction led system, which are the fixed, once you develop it will operate exactly that way, and you do test with the data, and if it works that way. But because this AI works on a probabilistic basis, that means it can vary based on a data. Depending on data, it will take a decision. So one need to make sure that there is a right data governance is there is a right explainability is there. Once the AI take a decision, then who is to be blamed, who is to control, who is to check, and things like that. So there is a detailed procedure in every organization for the rule for AI implementation. It has to be followed clearly. I do not know exactly what happened in McKinsey. I'm sure that they must be doing a lot of projects where things are also going right.
Proceed to learn as you are a CEO of Accenture, and you might know that what will be the next future of technologies and what operations will be done, because as you said, you have two different teams. One is for checking and verification, that's marketing team, and one is for research team. The same way it can be easily replaced because of the AI. So what will be the next future for a software developer, or a research-based student like me?
First of all, that as I said, that it is not about the tool, it is not about the language, it is not about the one particular. When you talk about the AI, you need to understand, you need to focus on solving the client's business problem and creating value. So it's not about the tool A, tool B, or tool C. I will come and tell you that this is the tool you should learn, which will be most hot tomorrow, but day after tomorrow something else will come. So let's not focus on that. Let's focus on that, creating the business solution using the broader range of AI. Now, when you talk about the what is the new technologies coming, I think there are, always there are new technologies coming. One of the technology which is in horizon is quantum. We believe that quantum technology will come and it will create again lot of disruption in this market in the coming days. Again, we have to see that the timeline and other things.
So Dr. Ghosh, here.
Okay,
Yeah.
fine.
So good afternoon. My name is Krishna Prasad and I'm part of a boutique consulting. And this is a very beautiful summary, the slide what you have here. Do you think that a boutique consulting company, a small, medium-sized boutique consulting company, can actually get a chance to compete with the larger ones with AI? Does it give a good level playing field, or we are at risk?
I think that definitely depends on that areas where you are working. But the point is that this technology democratizes the expertise. There are a lot of things which only large company could have done. Now you can do that as a smaller company. So it definitely democratizes the expertise. So that is your advantage. In terms of the disadvantage is also that it is sometimes it is a larger investment in a trust and so on and so forth, the business model, the other parameters which are important, for the startups. But definitely, I think this technology is new. No one can claim they have 20 years of experience in this technology. So if you are new, if you have the right solution, I'm sure that there's a huge opportunity ahead of you.
Okay, thank you.
Any question from this side? Very silent group, I can see this side. They are all under.
Consulting was high-paying job, right? You see that because you have both machine and person working together on a project, you see that would kind of reduce what a consultant was paid.
No, I think I repeat the question what I understood. Consultings are high-paying job in the future, whether this will be relevant or not. See, the point is that I can tell you two things, two data points I can give you. Number one is with AI, the budget for technology budget for every company will increase. It will not decrease. If you are running a large company as a CFO or CIO, do not expect that tomorrow AI is coming, so your budget will be cut by 70%. No. Your budget will increase to adopt the new technology. So the point is there will be more money on the table. With AI, there will be more money on the table. You need to make sure that you are relevant for that money. So that is the rule number one. Rule number two is that for the consultant, complexity is blessing. More things are complex, we thrive. Now, like example, what I gave on the, the beauty tech company, is a hugely complex. It's a technology, data, multiple technologies, security risk, data risk, leakage. More complex, you need more consultant. You need more people like us that who understand the multiple different areas, who has seen this kind of thing 1,000 times. So that is what is the important. So complexity is our friend, okay? And this will make the life more complex, I can tell you. It will not make life easy.
Dr.
Mr.
Ghosh,
Ghosh. So with introduction of AI, how the billing hours model in consulting going to be changed?
What is that?
The billing hours model in consulting.
A very good question, actually. So billing hours model will change, but there are a few things. One is that I said that the billing hours is directly proportional to the volume also. That, sometimes that billing per contract may be less, but number of contract will be more. because if everybody wants to use AI, then number of contracts will be more and we will make more money on that. So it is no big deal on that. But the point is that in this model also, that the new model will evolve, there will be a lot of, we are calling as a non-effort based modeling, that value based pricing. I think that is what will come in the future more, that will be more of a value based pricing will come. So I believe that will come. There may be a transition, it will happen, but I feel it will definitely happen. All the consulting company will embrace more value based model, which will be create a win-win situation both for the client and also for the consultant.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Good evening. I'm Charan from ABBS.
Yeah. Some questions from the participants online.
Just I'll finish just 2 minutes.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
So as you showed in the second slide, you said about the many companies investing in AI. What is the biggest mistake that companies are, while making the mistake while trying to adopt an AI? Did you face any big challenges while implementing the AI?
It's not a challenge in implementing AI. In all those cases,
Or adopting it?
there are two things. One is that when we implement this technology, most of these projects are very successful. Implementation is correct. Technology is successful, but it is not reflecting in the P&L. I'll tell you the reason sometime. There are many reasons for that. One of the reasons is we are trying to automate the existing work. If you automate the existing work, suppose, let us take that, suppose my job is to create a proposal. In Accenture, when the request comes from the client, I create a proposal. So that is my day job. To create one proposal, I take 8 hours. Now you give me a tool where I should be able to create the proposal in 6 hours or 4 hours. Remaining 4 hours, what I do? I go for a coffee, or I get stuck in the Bangalore traffic. Something happened, but that does not reflect in your P&L. You cannot say now, okay, Bhaskar Ghosh is doing, instead of 8 hours, it is 4 hours, I'll give a 50% less salary. You cannot do that. You have to give me more coffee time. So the question is that create sometimes that just productivity create a slack in the system, but it does not really translate that into business value. But the whole way of thinking is about the payroll cost and the people cost. If you think that way, as I said, 80% of the people are thinking that way. In that case, value is less. But suppose if you pick up the application where it will grow business. So if I create an AI application which will improve the sales conversion by 20%, in that case, your value realization will be much more with the investment. But today, what is happening, most of these use cases are automation use cases. How much payroll saving is happening and whether it is reflecting or not. So that shift has to happen, that more AI use case has to create, which will drive the growth, which will create the differentiated experience, which will create the cost efficiency, time to market, so on and so forth. That business outcome is more value than reducing number of people. That is interesting, but that is more value. So that should be the goal of AI.
Thank you, sir.
Yes.
Let's move on to some of the questions.
Yes, sir. Hello. I'm Srinivas from EPFO. So I have been thinking about this one particular, sir, I want some clarity on that. So normally we have seen, sir, when a class is there and the teacher is teaching the same set of syllabus using the same textbooks to a group of students, let us say around 50 or 100, and at the end of the day when they take exams and the the students are graded against what they have been able to learn, then they achieve different type of marks. And based on that, we have different the students who are getting 100 out of 100, and also at the other end of the spectrum, we have students who are barely about to pass. Imagine the reverse situation where each of the student is having the same set of information through AI, and everybody is at the same level. Like you said that what would be the situation if 7,50,000 people of Accenture have the same IQ of 160, and that 160 IQ is coming due to the exposure to each one of them has access to the AI tools. So in this situation, how the overall human things will match up, because there is only one set of people who have the same IQ, and there is nothing, there is no other set of persons available. So how these things will evolve in the future?
You have asked a very fundamental question. As I said, for
Yes,
the
sir.
context, what I said, that, if you look at on the other way, that if as a technology can elevate the quality of work for all the students quality will elevate. That's a good thing to do. So at the objective is that we want to train those students so that they'll be more relevant in the market, and whether they use the AI or they do it personally, whatever it is, they are creating the result, and which is good enough and better than what they can do, which is a positive outcome for the society as well. But your question is valid and the problem is valid. How do I mark them if everybody gets the same marks? Everybody gets 100, nobody is failed. I think that's a big problem. So we need to figure it out that now in this new way of world, that in the new world, how do I differentiate? That's what I said, that even if all of us use the AI, it is not produce the same result, and it is depending on your prompt, depending on your ingenuity, the asking of the question, it will create a different thing. So you need to have that AI proficiency to create a difference in the future, like what we have done the human proficiency. We have to create the differentiated IP for myself so that I stand out and I do that. So that is something it will evolve and we will learn. In Accenture example, what I said, that 50,000 people on 160 IQ, that is my dream, whether it will happen or not. But the point I wanted to make, the way to think is that how do we elevate the work for every person, improve their decision making with the power of AI? Because at the Accenture, we don't give marks to the people. So I want everybody to be more better customer focused, customer oriented, do the right solution for the customer. I don't care how they do it actually. So for me, it suits, but the college, whatever you said, that is a genuine problem that which we all need to collectively address.
Thank you, sir.
Let's come back to the questions in the auditorium. If anybody has any more questions?
Yeah, Dr. Ghosh, I wanted to know that you have a team at Accenture. Now, do they feel, as a result of AI, more empowered, or they have this fear that I lose my job tomorrow?
They are both threatened. See, the point is the human psychology is that if I go and tell that you all lose job, that they will get threatened. But the point is that is why that way we introduce the cultural change management before the technology implementation. So that is always we do. We do not, when you implementing AI in a large organization, it is not a technology implementation. It's a cultural change management. So it is a hugely important aspect of the change management, how the people will embrace this technology, then it will, throw it. I'll give you one example. That is one story I'll tell you, which is around 12 years back, 10 to 12 years back. That time I was CEO for our technology business. I launched a automation tool called, for every software engineer should use that tool to improve their productivity. So it was, that time it was not AI, but it was automation tool. But it was the same impact. If I tell people to use that tool, it will cannibalize their work. So when it is done, then, when the product was ready, so I was thinking what to call that product. Normally in Accenture, normal system is that we give very good name, like say, Accenture automation system or something like that, So instead of that, I gave that tool's name is MyWizard. MyWizard. So that was very non-conventional name for a corporate organization like Accenture. Suddenly Wizard and MyWizard is not a common name. This thing. In fact, when I was presenting to board, one of the board member asked me that, Bhaskar, everything is good, whatever you are talking about, why you have given such a funny name? You see, IBM has got a Watson, and Wipro has got something similar good name, and you have given a MyWizard. What is this name? So I said that, look, in my organization, there are that time I had around 200, 300,000 people works for me, but they are not in my age group. Their average age is 26 years. They have grew up all in Harry Potter age. So they all should think that this is a wizard. This is a tool for me to help my productivity. This is not a threat for me to cannibalize and remove me from the job. So I gave the name as a MyWizard so that they can relate, that young population can relate that with that Harry Potter linkage. But the point is that your point is very valid. If we don't focus on that aspect of the implementation, the human aspect of the implementation, that all the technology, this implementation will fail. People will not adopt. Okay.
You are at 4:30. Is Puneet asking the question?
Yeah, I have one question. Hi, Bhaskar sir. It was a really great presentation. I work for Accenture and I'm also pursuing MBA from Ahmedabad. My question is regarding the AI use cases. So it is currently one of the biggest struggle for the companies to identify the right use case for their work. So are there any things that need to be kept in mind while validating or identifying the right use cases for AI to maximize the value?
I think there are, for every industry and every country, every business, we have now in last 3 years, we have learned what is working, what is not working. So we give some guidance. But the broader guidance is that do not go for technology, but go for the business value, business outcome. So that is the broader guideline. But within that, for every industry, we say that which are the more easy to implement, that quick wins and things like that. So we have few list for every industry based on our experience. But you can say that for any company, the broader guideline is that go for value, not for technology.
Okay. Thank you, Bhaskar.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ghosh. You have had many sessions on artificial intelligence this season, and this is definitely is going to stand out. And with your permission, we are going to disseminate your recording to many of our contacts who will be very much interested. And it was great to hear from an academic and business leader for an hour. And now, before we finish, I want to thank all the participants for taking the time and participating, and also for the good questions.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Now, we request Professor Rahul De to hand over a token of appreciation to Dr. Ghosh.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Now, we also request Dr. Agarwal to hand over a token of appreciation to Dr. Rao. Now we request all the participants to assemble in the place behind the auditorium for a group photo with Dr. Ghosh, which is a very rare opportunity for all of us. After that, we can move on to the refreshments. We can take the door behind to reach the backside of auditorium for the group photo.